Let's go. .113 is actually a tank that I literally bought yesterday. I tested it very long time ago, but I haven't actually played it since and haven't grinded it since. But with the time 5 certificates, I actually grinded the line like really fast, and that's actually quite helpful. Let's see. And as expected, we see that. Oh, we see actually one of... This is what I mean. One of the mice actually started in the hills. That is not how you want things to be. Oof. Now the Sheridan is in the base. Bruni is deciding not to deal with that. And we see the E5s and the mouse holding. Coco now also moving. He might have potentially been AFK, not sure. And the mice are pushing. This is basically what you can expect with a heavy lineup like this. Kinoko, primary target here. Can't really move anywhere without being shot at this stage. That is a big hit into Maddox though. The E5s are behind there. Sleeping Lion also losing a little bit of HP. Kinoko now in an excellent holding position. And the E5s are in hold down positions. We see Bruni at the back, losing quite a bit, wanting to not be there, but he's in big trouble now. And basically Feast is pushing, and they kind of have to, because with their Leo behind they are going to lose a tank. And they need to make sure, oof, it's actually Mugu that is lost first. And Bruni is not going to be that far behind. He made it to the city, just don't ask how. Sleeping Lion not looking too healthy either. Taichon is gone. And Feast is still pushing, but they've both lost 2 tanks right now. And HP wise, Calm has an advantage. And now they also have a gun advantage. Basically, Feast was too hesitant to push, and it's pretty much costing them this game. Big hit. There goes Maddox. 2 gun advantage for Calm. And Calm is staying perfectly calm in this. Kiki is pushing in with his mouse, but arriving potentially too late, because CX is already steadily being murdered. And with him being tracked, that makes him easy pickings, because the E100 is not quite as armored as the mouse. And now it is 4-3 versus 2. But HP wise, there's a massive advantage for Calm. So they're going to be able to take this home quite easily. Especially when that shot does not pen. Sheridan arriving behind the mouse. That's going to be ugly. And there he goes. And now only Frost is left. Versus 3 very healthy tanks. This would be like the most epic color ban you could think of. But that's not going to happen. And it's not even Hermit that takes it home. Leaving tiny bit of HP. But the 113, there you go. Chichiro taking out Frost, and the first match is for Calm. And that is the first game. Look at the difference in damage. This was... Feast was starting it so well with that push. Only they didn't continue pushing. They're saying that it's not them, it's you. But you can't really tell me that 14 people at the same time can experience lag from different countries with different providers, and then it's not the server. But hey. Let's see. Almost starting. That is a pretty camo on the VK though. And now we see Medals going off alone towards base A, and he's probably gonna get absolutely hammered there, but he's staying back there, not going for the base, whereas Feast is all going into the hills when they don't really need to, because everyone from Calm is down below. Bruni and Bungu taking the base. They will have a point advantage, assuming that base A does not get kept, and Calm is pushing in now, getting hit from the hills. And Maddox is basically there. He's not necessarily cannon fodder, but he's there to keep them spotted. But they will get a base here. And he does take a tiny bit of damage there. And base A, that was 7 damage to the E100. That's not really how you want to do it though. Maddox taking a bit more damage. He has to be a little bit more careful now. Especially since they have the base. Calm does not need to take any chances. They can just get away with holding, waiting for Feast to make a move. And this is exactly what I meant. Lag all around. Not sure if Calm has it too, or if it's just Feast. Maddox has to be careful. He does take a hit there. But he's basically in the same position that the enemy mouse was in last game. And it's a good position. Frost moving in. Feast has to make a move, because they're already over 100 points ahead. Frost having been spotted taking a side scraping position there. And we see that, oof, big hit into Frost there. I'm actually... There you go. And now, Calm is sort of like turning around. We see Maddox moving in. They need those bases, but they have to be careful. CX now in a position that Frost was in before. They're sort of side scraping from each other. Maddox set on fire, it looks like. And they are stealing base A now. But this is very tricky, and they left it pretty late. But as long as they're in the base, they're not going to be getting any points for base A. Bruni losing HP. Basically now we are entering a sort of brawl. Base A has been kept, but they kind of need base B too. And they are pretty spread out. They need to move in, they need to take out that E50M. There he goes, that is the first gun out. Frost not doing too good here. In a very tough position. There goes Shichiro. Base A is being stolen again. Frost still alive. He kind of has to stay. Yege about to get... No sleeping line, you need to get that base. And we have Bruni moving in. Yege steadily being destroyed now. There he goes. We have the IS-4. That is turning back, wanted to get shots into the guys in base B. We are 900 points now. As long as Feast stays alive, they should have this. There goes the IS-4. There goes the mouse, and with that kill, it carries Feast over the 1k barrier, and they win the second match. But that was so close, and this was basically focus fire. Calm lacked focus fire. There were so many one-shots on Feast side. Again, no real pressure. Both teams only have 1 victory, and the one that comes to 4 victories first is the one that takes it home. So, plenty of time and plenty of matches left. Also, remind me, well actually, no, you can't remind me because there's a 5-minute delay, but I will tell you about Feast's name after this match. Because there's a pretty fun story to that, and a double meaning. Yeah, this is exactly what I meant. But Calm is actually not heading for the bases at all. They're heading towards base C. The mice might actually reset them if they're not careful. But they're keeping together, so you can't really reset both of them. Sleeping Lion taking a little bit of damage there, but as long as they're kept together, there you go. Blind shot into the base, where they expect the other one to be, but there's not no one there. Feast has been spotted, so they are careful at the back. The mice taking a little bit of damage there. But pretty much all of Calm is nearing base T, and that could be very tricky for them. Because they're basically... Feast is in better positions at this stage. And we see some missiles, and we see some hits. Oh! Taichon not doing too good there. Feast now crossing over. This is something that I would not do, because now you get basically a cluster. And that can be very dangerous. Especially with the Clipper now fully ready to move in as well. Hermit taking a big shot into Mugu there. And the IS-7 is still alive. Bruni. The mouse now even arriving. The IS-7 is finally taken out. Sleeping Lion wants to go after the Leo. Leo is gone though. And basically they're in trouble. Frost not looking too healthy. He's the next one to be gone. Unless he gets some miraculous bounces, but he doesn't. And basically this is sort of like a fuckfest. So I can't really call it anything else. Tanks are disappearing left and right. It will be all about the focus fire. G9 still alive, but barely. And Taichon does not shoot G9. G9 is going to be dead to the Sheridan. Oh no, he does not. And Bruni missing. There goes G9. It is 4 versus 3. CX not looking all too healthy. Taking another hit from the AMX. We have Sheridan versus Sheridan over here. Bruni is now a one-shot, so that is something that they need to be careful about. He will need the help from his team. CX being taken out here. Base D being kept. It is 3 versus 3. Oh! How did that not pen? That is a very, very lucky Bruni. And he will reload faster, so as long as he makes sure to hit this. And he misses! Oh my god! Sleeping Lion barely alive. Maddox still very much healthy. He takes out. It will be Maddox versus a Sheridan and the mouse, and that could be very tricky. Because missiles. He just has to survive at this stage. Sheridan arriving at the back, and then that bounce. Oh my god, Maddox. He has to be careful. Basically the Sheridan should be his preferred target, but the Sheridan is playing it smart. And Maddox has to make sure that every shot counts at this stage. And now we are going to see some missile work, I think. Maddox taking a hit there. There you go. The mouse is not yet a one-shot. But he needs to take out that Sheridan. And that is very... Oh no! Those two missed shots by... There you go, taking out that missed shot from Sheridan, from Bruni on the other Sheridan. And this missed shot on the Sheridan as well. That is basically cost them the game. But that was so close. Look at the difference in damage being done. This is basically exactly... Wow. Let's see what happens now. Again, still no pressure. And here we go. Let's see. And to be fair, it was a really close game last game. But those two misses. Especially by Bruni, because that allowed the Hermit to do so much more damage. And we see all the fast tanks pushing up and over. But the rest of the heavies is coming. They are taking base D. And we hear a gun going off. But no damage has been done yet. Base B has not been taken. AMX has been shot. Base D. Basically, Feast has a tiny point advantage here. And they're more or less in holding positions. The T-22s need to be careful there. The E5 is arriving. But there's gonna be a rush here. Again, Calm is sticking all together. And Feast has to be more careful this time. IS-7 getting shot quite badly. TM Revolution in trouble. Oh, Sleeping Lion getting pretty much hammered there. They need to take those guns out. They need to take out that Clipper, but it's actually Sleeping Lion that goes first. G9 now in a very tricky position. He's not going to be able to make this. He might survive for another shot, but that's about it. And G9 is the next one taken out. CX has a Leo in his bum. That's not gonna go well. The rest of Feast is now arriving pretty healthy, but they will have to take out guns very fast because they have a 2-gun disadvantage here. And Mugu in the SCB is on his own. And Mugu is running off. And he might survive a little bit longer, but it will be tricky. There goes the AMX. Siam Revolution still alive. Mugu arriving. There he is taken out. It is 4 versus 3 now. Feast is putting the game back towards them. But they have to be careful. They need to take out that Leo. He is at this point. Oof, that was a big hit there. There you go. Leo is gone. Now we have an E5 and an IS4. And it is the E5 that is the preferred target. And they are ignoring the IS4 completely and taking out. This is exactly how I know Feast. This is what sets them apart on the Acer server. This focus fire that we were missing last game. And Chichiro is suddenly being destroyed. And there he goes. And this game is for Feast. Teleporting tanks does not make for an easy game though. I actually have no idea if the other team is experiencing that. But look at this, 4.7k damage, 4.2k damage for the Sheridan and the STB. And in this case, I thought for a moment... And here we go. And in this case, like, yes, super heavies can work wonders on this map. But they do lack the mobility, they do lack the DPM. And we'll see how it works out for them. Here we go. And the thing is, you can sort of like restart your modem or your router between matchups, but not like in the games itself, because you only have 2 minutes before you start again. So we have Bruni heading towards base A, meeting the Hermit there, and Mugu moving straight on in to cap base C, and that will give an early advantage for Feast in form of points. And most of the mice, and most of the super heavies to be fair, are pretty much hanging around base C, and that is tricky. Oof, nice hit. And we have the Sheridan the Hermit going around the back. Or maybe not. Feast has a server at this point. They have the advantage. They just need to be careful not to get shot. Especially Maddox. There you go. Because he can get shot from base B. Now base A is being capped. And this basically gives Feast the advantage. Because they can make a move. But they're not doing that. They can't really move into base B either. Because there's too many guns there. Kotori is taking some damage at the back there. And that bounced. Frost taking a bit of damage. Feast has about a 100 point advantage though, so it will depend on what Calm does. They will have to make a move either for base B, base D, or for Feast as a whole. More shots being fired, and every time he's spotted he gets shot in return. But overall, not much is happening. This is pretty much a stalemate, and it will be up to Calm to break it. And we see Calm. They have been spotted crossing over, so Feast knows that they're going to have tanks behind them. And this is actually nice, because you see Miserable and Frost now turning around, taking different positions. 140 is meeting the Sheridan at the back. I'm going to... Basically, Calm is now making a move into base B. The Sheridan has almost reloaded, but he has Frost on his tail. Feast is moving in. Base B has been kept. And Mugu is primarily focusing on the Sheridan, but oh, he lost a ton of health there. He has to be more careful, because they kind of need all the guns. Especially with... I can't even see who that is. Miserable in the middle there. Mugu is almost gone, but it's Kotori that disappears first. And we have Haru here, who is next in line to go. And so far, Feast has all survived. The Hermit is finally gone. Miserable, still absorbing the damage. There goes Frost, the first Feast gun to go. And now Taichung. It is 6 versus 3. And all 3 are here. There you go. Revolution taken out. We have a mouse and an E100 left. And they don't have enough guns to take out all these Feast guns in time, especially with the low HP targets, keeping themselves safe. Mugu is still getting a shot in from there, despite being such a one-shot. And Feast already has it based on points. And Kinoko gets to live. Kinoko gets to stay alive. And this was... I'm very surprised that Miserable stayed alive with the way that he pushed in. But he was basically... But Feast has managed to grab some of the games back very nicely. And this just... Look at this. I really like this sort of mirror image of the lineups. And here we go. Let's see what happens this time around. Feast now heading towards the... Basically, we see a mirror of what happened before. Bruni potentially in trouble already. Has to be careful. He does take a hit. He lands one in return. And he's getting the blip out of there, which is a good call. No bases are being kept right now. And we have the mice and the IS-4s. Pretty much spreading out throughout the city. Base A now being kept. Bruni is going to take base C, no doubt about that. Taking a position where he is as safe as possible. Maddox taking a hit. The mouse taking a hit as well. And in this case it will be Calm that has a point advantage, but it will be less than a tank's worth. And we saw a missile fly there, but it didn't pen. Maddox being a little bit not careful enough though. A big hit, but not penning. And now the E100s are potentially in trouble. Getting flanked by the IS-4. Getting hit by the Sheridan. Massive hits into Taichung there. They are pushing. All of Feast is pushing. But they have to be careful. Mugu is not looking too healthy. He's going to be gone very soon. He is the first gun gone. And that hit not penning by Maddox is also very telling and very big trouble for Feast potentially. Haru not looking too healthy. But he survives another round. There he goes. Maddox not looking too healthy either. Frost in trouble with his HP. There goes Frost, there goes Maddox. It is 4 versus 6. And Taichung is still alive. Surviving a lot longer than he should. Bruni taking another hit, but he's not going to survive this. And the guns are staying alive too long on Calm's side. They are not taking out the one-shots. And they're wasting too much time trying to aim for the shot that is basically blocked by multiple tanks. Taichung still alive, but it is 2 versus 6. This is not going to go well for Feast. CX taking damage just to get behind, just to take out Taichung. And he is now in big trouble. Miserable can't carry this all alone. And those bounces are very important here. Let's actually take you a little bit closer. And now only Miserable is left. And he won't be able to take them all out. Especially not with the mouse angling like this. Hermit getting behind. Taking a nasty hit there. And this game will be for calm and we get a tiebreaker. Epic, yes. And it will be all dependent on the next game. And honestly, I don't know if calm is having these server issues as well. Attending to a certain place, be sure to check beforehand if that is actually still possible. And here we go into the final match of this matchup. The tiebreaker. Let's see. Feast is not a happy camper, which is understandable. And here we go. We have the Leo 40 from Calm heading towards base A. Mugu in the Leo going there as well, but it's actually Bruni that is going along with Frost into base D. And Mugu is basically just waiting. Base C and D are both being taken. B and A so far ignored. And Bruni is turning around to get the blip out of there. Lots of fire happening, no damage having been done yet. And we have Mugu and Hermit potentially having the same thought here. And Hermit is moving in. But he's not going to be able to spot anyone there. Actually, no, they do spot each other. And Mugu actually takes a bit of a hit. For the rest, Feast is holding. They have a tiny point advantage, reaching that point just a split second before Calm does. But that is a very close call that you don't really want, though. And for the rest, people are just holding. Not much is happening. Some people are spotted, but no damage is being done to them yet. CX knows he's been spotted. Blind fire into that side. And a move will have to be made at some point. Overall, the only one that's lost any HP is Mugu. And we've sort of like... Ooh. Let's just take a turnabout. You now see Calm responding, regrouping, expecting a push at base A. Sleeping Lion pushing in a little bit, but not quite. I wanted to get lines of fire and he actually hits the snow there. Frost has moved into a more forwards position, but this would mean that base B is actually open to cap. And Frost is now being singled out. They are pushing him, or attempting to. And the Leo there. Now Feast is responding, and this is something that is dangerous because you're pushing in through open plains. And the Leo is a very juicy target. So basically now we have 4 tanks on 3, and they're not really focusing on the same target. There goes Taichan. There goes Bruni. They've exchanged one tank for another. Frost either lagging or having been tracked. He is not looking too healthy. He is going to be gone. There you go. And again, they've exchanged one tank for the other. Mugu not looking too healthy. He's not going to survive this. But he does get another shot in first. Just don't ask how. Mugu is still alive, but there he goes. Hermit not looking too healthy either. And it is 4 versus 4. But Feast has a tiny bit of an HP advantage here. Miserable. Now in a very tricky position. And he is the next one out. TM Revolution should be the next tank that is gone. You have the T-22. They kind of have to... There you go. Sleeping Lion. Pushing up and over. The IS-4 coming. And basically they need to focus on this mouse because that is the closest target that they have. CX not shooting the mouse could potentially be a problem here, especially when he loses HP. Maddox using the corpse to not get shot from the other side. The mouse almost gone. The 140 now pushing in. And there goes the mouse. It is 3 versus 2. Feast should have this, but they need to be careful. They just need to focus on the guns that are straight there. They don't need to shoot that 140 yet. Sleeping Lion. CX not getting damage there is very important. And now it's only the Clover that is left. And he is still alive. But they take him out. And Feast takes home this point. Despite all the lag. And that is the first matchup of tonight. That was, well, to be fair, a bit frustrating to watch. But overall, good games, good pushes, good absorbing pushes. Nearly 5 minutes that game.